spoken to that he had spoken to the administration with Cleveland Clinic, and that they said, well, you getting your COVID test was just consistent with the emergency that had been put out because of COVID. And I said, but that's fine and dandy, but even though that was in place, there was no discretion. And when they stopped using discretion, they then violated their Hippocratic oath, because even those PCR tests still had the nanoparticles within the swabs that still caused damage to people who got that test. And he said, "You're right, I agree." So basically,
wow.
Yeah, he said, "You're right, I agree."
Okay.
And I said, because I was damaged, then that has to be corrected and nullified, and compensation must be is due for the situation, because they violated their Hippocratic oath. They didn't use any discretion. It was reckless, and because it was reckless, it falls under negligence and malpractice.
What did he say?
He said he took down. He didn't give me no pushback and said, "Yep, I'm gonna take all this and I'm gonna take it the next step further that it needs to go."
There's no defense. Now that the state of Kansas is suing Pfizer, there's no defense. I'm trying to get my hands on the filing, because they said they misled the public about the dangers of the jab. They knew the jab harmed pregnant women. They knew there were side effects with that. They knew all of this. So
also, that I kept referring to the video. I kept referring to the information in the video, and I was saying that he was saying, but yeah, it was still he was trying to find a leg to stand on, and he was supposed to. And I said, regardless of the fact that the actual test can't even test for a virus, so that in itself made it a fraud. That's what made the test a fraud, because they knew that this line of testing, they couldn't get a determination on a positive or negative of a virus. You're not going to get a conclusive result, because all of the other components that are involved makes the test too unreliable. You just cannot test in that manner for a virus. Once again, he was silent. It's like, you're right.
And don't forget the most important thing. This is what they don't talk about. COVID-19, or the virus, I like to change the phraseology, the virus causes COVID. The COVID virus was never purified. And what purified means is they never isolated it to know what it looks like. So if you don't know what it looks like, they was putting this picture up on all the news stations and putting it in the background, in the foreground, doing animation to say, oh, this is what the virus looks like, but they haven't purified, hasn't been purified. So purified, they have to isolate it and then put it and say, this is what it looks like. They don't have a picture of it because it was never purified. Furthermore, I got Clorox wipes here, and some people saw, what's the other one? There's Clorox, not the other one. Say what?
Lysol. Lysol.
On the label, it says against COVID or coronavirus, right on the label.
Yes, indeed. Right on the Lysol cans too. So, and I would tell you, because I had a bout during that time where I couldn't taste or smell anything. Oh, you got COVID. I said, well, guess what? I remember being a kid and having a cold in the 80s, and I couldn't taste or smell nothing. So I must have had COVID in the 80s then.
is coronavirus is the common cold. That's what it is. It wasn't nothing new. They just made that up. And so the lawsuits are going to come fast and furious. Like I said, the state of Kansas, they're going after Pfizer hard, amongst other states and countries going after Pfizer. Japan is starting an international investigation for Japan, and they're going to find out, like, why did this even happen? Because the president, or is it the president or the prime minister of Japan, he had to apologize to the public because he realized by forcing people to take the jab, it'd kill people. And now that's why they need the Africans to come into Japan to repopulate Japan, because Japan's population already is old. China's population is old. So their gene pool is going down. Then you add COVID on top of that, taking the computer, liquid computer operating system, which is killing people. Now they realize they don't have the numbers, so now they're wanting African men. See how, like they said, nobody hates like family. I thought y'all was your own thing. Now all of a sudden we want Africans to come to Japan to impregnate Japanese women so they can get their numbers back up, because they already know they won't. It'll take too long doing it the conventional way. Get them Africans over here. So one black woman from the States was like, okay, yeah, what you get? What guarantees do we get? Why are you wanting them over there? Because I've seen cases of Africans in China where the Chinese started surrounding them, beating them up. I saw a video the other day of some Africans in India in the middle of an intersection. So I said, damn, what Papa Legba stuff is going on here in the traffic? When you watch a movie and something happens in a traffic, in the four corners, you have to say nah, because that's the area of Papa Legba, the opener of the ways. You could say Ta if you will, or if you prefer, in ancient Tamaray, because Ta was considered the opener of the ways. That's the Oscar, where they get the image of the Oscar from. It's the Egyptian deity Ta, opener. When what's that movie, Ex Machina, the guy asked the AI, okay, if you were to get out of here, where's the first place you go to? They said, I go to a traffic intersection. I'm like, what? And I said, oh, traffic intersection represents a grid, and the computer is grid based, so it's going to go there for us. I said, oh, it sounds like the computer trying to get into the etheric realm, because that's where you go to do your magic. If you can't go to an intersection or a crossroad, you draw one out in the woods, draw a crossroad to do your heka or your magic or your voodoo there.
Yeah, Papa Legba is actually my Vodun spirit guide.
So there you go. So you make sure today is the day. You know that, right?
Say once again.
Today is Papa Legba's day. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
So you need to hit that crossroad, or make sure you give an offering today and tomorrow for Papa. Tomorrow, Monday is like for the pennies. Tuesdays is days of the Gregorian week. Tuesdays is Papa Legba day. So just so you definitely there you do an offering. So as you can see, it's shocking, because when people were saying this doesn't make sense, got a social distance, wear a mask, people are like, what's going on here? These guys was fighting people. Now he has to acknowledge, and I'm glad that you did that by saying, no, I'm making reference to the video, and you name drop that woman, right, for future reference. You name drop her. He said, nah, this video won't bitch you. He's been in the game, and she's like, nah, you could run that thing 100 times and you'll find something. But it wasn't designed for that. So that's, again, they know they have to get ahead of the tsunami that's coming. I saw on the news yesterday, the day before, that an airline pilot died on a plane. So the co-pilot had to take over on a commercial flight.
Wow.
So if you look it up, airline pilot, let me see if it'll come up here.
Yeah, I believe they looked at that video. I believe that video just with the sheer length of it. and all the information. I think that was probably the most powerful part to it. They just backed them in the corner like we have no way to explain ourselves out of it. That's the
See,
way I
there's
look at
another one.
it.
Exactly.
Like,
5 days ago, both pilots were killed after the airplane entered a spinning near vertical descent in the final second. See, young pilot killed. Okay, that's air tragedy, but heart attack. Okay, airline pilot has heart attack.
would that have to do? Would that have something to do with the with the cosmic storms that been hitting the planet since over the past 3 or 4 months?
That would be probably, I would say, fourth on the list starting. Because remember, the FAA forced a lot of those pilots to take the jab, and the pilot said if we go up there taking that jab and it causes myocarditis, remember, that's air pressure now. That's gonna mess with their circulation. They're like, they could clot, have a heart attack / stroke in the air. That happens, and the co-pilot don't know how to do this. That plane, all of the people on that plane is dead.
Yeah, but wouldn't that also have a twofold effect? Because wouldn't the geomagnetic storms, because they are affecting the magnetic grid, wouldn't they have an effect on the nanoparticles in the body? Wouldn't they have a two score effect, so to
I
speak?
agree. I agree with that. That's why I'm making it number 4. Because in order for that to happen, they had what first? The jab. And what does the jab contain? Nanoparticles. People are getting myocarditis on the ground. So if they go up there with that magnetism, that could be pulling those particles at a microscopic level and blocking arteries. And then boom, they get into a heart attack.
Not to mention what solar radiation and gamma ray does to the body, it does to the cells. Not to mention that.
Yes. This is why I'm saying number 4. Number 1 is the jab. Remember, it is a liquid computer operating system containing nanoparticles which can create structures. They're self-building. That's not supposed to be in the human body. Let's not forget, some people took the jab, got what? Magnetized. So if they took the jab, they got magnetized. Now they're going up into the air, closer into the ionosphere, where the magnetism is going to be stronger, the magnetic field, the poles, right? Not counting the geomagnetic storms. That's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of videos where people been saying, stay off them airplanes. Stay off them airplanes.
Exactly. All right.
All right.
Much appreciated. Door.
One more thing. I kind of want to go back the conversation you were having with Moon about being white, and you were, basically just wanting to make statements, that people can grasp on to further identify. To me, my whiteness comes first because that's my divinity. And I'm not going to let nobody deny my divinity. Now, they want to get into the whole thing about the Indian part. That I look at the Indian part as more of like, that's my attribute. I'm white, but my Indian part is the attribute of, all the other things that come in with what goes in with the attributes. But when you let somebody deny your whiteness, you let them deny your divinity. And that's the one thing you can't never do.
All right. I can't disagree with that. That has my full endorsement and support. Much appreciated.
Sure.